I'm Harrison Graham.
And I'm Chase Sr. We started a brand new show here at Chat Sports. It's called Any Given Thursday. We go live every single Thursday, 5 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Pacific.
So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and enjoy this video because this show first aired on that live show on Chat Sports. So sit back and enjoy the show. Let's talk a little college football here on Any Given Thursday. Harrison and Chase rolling with you. You can watch us live every Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Central Time here on Chat Sports. Chase, we're going to keep you informing the audience of the latest around the USC coaching search.
Yeah.
And the name that popped up this week is Anthony Lynn, former Chargers head coach who is now the offensive coordinator with the Detroit Lions. Break this one down a little bit. What is going on here?
According to some reports out there, USC boosters have reached out to Anthony Lynn, this coming from Jim Trotter, of NFL Network, to gauge his interest in the head coaching job at USC. Now, he got fired by the Los Angeles Chargers after a couple of solid seasons in which the Chargers didn't really make any deep runs in the playoffs. He is currently the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions, and Jim Trotter had reported on top of that if USC were to reach out to Anthony Lynn, he would have interest in that head coaching job. He spent 4 seasons with the Chargers as their head coach, put together a pretty good record, 9-7, 12-4, 5-11, 7-9. They ended the season last year pretty impressively, and I thought Justin Herbert played like an all-world quarterback. But here's the deal. There's been no official contact between the USC athletic department and Anthony Lynn, only boosters and Anthony Lynn. Something fascinating and kind of weird because I wasn't expecting Anthony Lynn to be a candidate for this job, and I know you agree.
Let me say this as clearly as I can. And I like Anthony Lynn as an NFL play caller and maybe even deserves another chance at a head coaching gig because he was above 500 with the Chargers. I mean, he won some games. I get it. He was in L.A. for those few years. Oh, L.A., USC, blah, blah, blah. You can't hire Anthony Lynn. You just can't do it if you're USC. There's better candidates out there, and that's not saying Lynn's not a good football coach. He is. He doesn't really have real connections to the college scene. We don't know how he would be as a recruiter. I don't think this makes any sense. He went to Texas Tech, so he doesn't really have any Southern Cal ties. You can't hire Anthony Lynn if you're USC. I don't really get these USC boosters reaching out to him. I'm not saying you can't interview the guy. If you settle for Anthony Lynn, I think that's a pretty low bar to set if you're USC when there are some major coaches in college football that I think would be excellent candidates and guys that you should heavily consider before Mr. Anthony Lynn.
I do think Anthony Lynn has some qualities and intangibles that would work well for this USC gig. I think he has a personality. I think he'd be able to relate to players. I'd actually have a lot of confidence in Anthony Lynn being a recruiter, but his game management over time for Los Angeles was really, really bad. And I actually don't even think that Anthony Lynn is a bad offensive play caller.
No,
I think he's
good.
done a pretty decent job throughout his time in the NFL, especially this year with the Detroit Lions, who don't have any elite weapons on the offensive side of the football. He's done a pretty good job with the Detroit Lions. And I don't think that Anthony Lynn necessarily would be a great coaching candidate for USC, given the brand power that it has. I do like the idea, though, of going after an NFL head coach because the chops, the swagger, the confidence, the experience, kind of the polarization of an NFL coach walking into a recruit's living room is something that I think could be very powerful. And that personality, that experience, and that swagger is something that Pete Carroll had, and he was very successful with USC. They haven't gotten back to that level since he left, but everybody seems to forget that before Pete Carroll went to USC, he was a head coach in the NFL. He went 6-10 with the Jets, fired after 1 year, 10-6 with the Patriots, 9-7, 8-8. So while he didn't have a lot of success at the NFL level, he changed, he adapted, he evolved, and he was a home run hire for USC. Anthony Lynn won't be that, but I wouldn't mind and I wouldn't hate if USC does go after an NFL head coach.
Yeah, I mean, I think there are some NFL names. And by
even
the way,
a coordinator, too.
Chase and I will take a look at our top 5 candidates as we sit at this point in time. I got to think there's better candidates than Anthony Lynn, at least right now. Who should USC hire as their next head coach? Let us know down in the comments section. We'll make this the pinned comment on today's video, so let us know who USC should hire as their next head coach. Right now in the comments, go ahead and tell us. Okay, let's take a look at my top targets, then we'll take a look at Chase's. We'll go 1 to 5. I think Joe Brady, and these are realistic. I'm not going to say, Nick Saban, because Nick Saban's not leaving Alabama for USC. Joe Brady. Now, I think Brady wants an NFL head coaching job, and I think he thinks he'll have a chance at getting that. But I think there's at least a chance that he would take this job if you called him. So he's probably the first guy I gauge interest in. He's done a hell of a job. Sam Darnold looks competent again. He looks confident again, by the way, Sam Darnold played at USC, so that's notable. Number 2, James Franklin. There's been a lot of chatter around him. He's had some moments. We're going to get to that after this segment, Jeremy. He's had some moments at Penn State. Hasn't won the Big Ten more than once, but I think he's a good candidate. Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. Mike Bone, the AD at USC, hired Fickell at Cincinnati. Fickell's done a hell of a job at UC, and I think he could have some success at Southern Cal. Eric Bieniemy, Chase mentioned, liking the idea of bringing an NFL coach in here. Bieniemy has said in the past USC is one of the few college jobs he would have major interest in. Played college football at Colorado. I think he's related to those players in Kansas City very, very well. Patrick Mahomes loves him. So does Andy Reid. And then Jeff Hafley. We haven't talked a lot about him on this show here, Chase, before I hand it to you. He has done a heck of a job at Boston College. Comes from that Ohio State kind of pipeline. I think he would like to get back to the Buckeyes eventually as a head coach if Ryan Day ever leaves. But I've been really impressed with what he's been able to do as well.
Here's my top targets for this USC gig, and I'm not ready to give up on Urban Meyer as the head coach of the Jacksonville Jaguars after 3 games, but there have been a lot of rumblings that he's not necessarily happy and the players aren't happy with him. And Urban Meyer is arguably one of the greatest college coaches of all time. No matter where he goes in the college ranks, he turns around programs and he wins a lot of games. He has a career winning percentage of well over 80%. I think he'd be able to bring USC back over the next couple of years. At number 2, Mario Cristobal, head coach for Oregon. I love this because he has done such a great job recruiting at Oregon. They have star-studded talent all across that roster. And what has he done to land some of those top-notch recruits? He's poached them out of the Los Angeles area. So he already knows that area very well. What's the problem with USC? All of those recruits tend to leave USC and go elsewhere across the country. I think Cristobal could help keep those guys home. Number 3, James Franklin. So much buzz about Franklin taking this job and there being mutual interest. If I'm James Franklin, I'm already making $8+ million in rural Pennsylvania. He's turned around Penn State. They're churning out NFL products on a yearly basis. I think Penn State is the second most talented team in terms of player talent in the Big Ten behind Ohio State. And I think Penn State's knocking on the door because Ohio State is down this year. So I'm not leaving something that's certain for something that is uncertain. I like Eric Bieniemy. A lot of talk that if he were to leave for a coaching job in the college ranks, it would be for USC. I think as a play caller and a recruiter, he would do a great job. I like his personality fit. And at number 5, I would kick the tires on this if I'm in that athletic department. I really would.
Can you bring back Lane?
Has anybody done a better job of repairing their image than Lane Kiffin and Alex Rodriguez? Like, nobody out there. Lane Kiffin has repaired his image. He's got a great personality. I understand the USC experiment.
They already fired him
straight up
once.
Disaster. They fired him once, but what he does from a play design standpoint, I'm so impressed with, because he implements spread concepts, but he's not afraid to go power football in certain situations. And I think his offense would work at USC given the talent pool there, because what he's doing at Ole Miss right now is awfully impressive.
Yes.
So I would have some internal discussions about bringing back Lane Kiffin for sure.
Man, that would be very, very fascinating if that happens. I love Lane Kiffin. I don't think he'd be interested in going back there, if I'm being completely honest. The best college football coverage on YouTube, it's right here, Chat Sports, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. I've converted Chase into being a CFB fanatic. He is all in on college football. I've been all in my entire life. Subscribe. We'll keep chopping up some college football on the weekly here at Chat Sports.
Let's get to my college Week 5 picks. I'm feeling really good, and I'm like 14-8, 14-9 this season, so let's continue to shovel out these good picks and make that bread. I think Arkansas getting 18 points in between the hedges at Georgia is just disrespectful. I like Arkansas not to win this game, but to keep it close. They have a very fast defense. They're very physical on both lines. So too is Georgia. I like the matchup there. KJ Jefferson has to play and be healthy for Arkansas to keep this game close. I went to Temple Temple. I've made a lot of money fading Temple and betting against them this year. They are bad. And Memphis is always one of the best teams in the American Athletic Conference. Memphis is only 11-point favorites. You got to gas Memphis. I'm telling you, that's a guaranteed winner this weekend because Temple ain't good at all, and Rod Carey has to get fired. Syracuse getting 5 at Florida State. This is a line that I think Harrison and I think is very, very fishy. How can Syracuse coming off a win against Liberty be 5-point dogs against a bad Florida State team? I don't understand it.
No.
Notre Dame getting 1.5 against Wisconsin. How is that even possible? I think Notre Dame is the much better team. They're the much better program. Wisconsin. It's Notre Dame, Cincinnati. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Forget the typo
point
there.
Still
it's
stands.
Cincinnati.
Notre Dame is 1.5-point underdogs against Cincinnati. I'm just not sure how that's a possibility. And I like Penn State to beat Indiana. Indiana beat Penn State in Week 1 last year on that Michael Penix Jr. phantom 2-point conversion. I think Penn State wins this game, but Indiana's going to be able to keep it close. And I think this game could come down to the wire. It could get a little hairy for the Nittany Lions, but I like Indiana at plus 13. And then my upset pick this week was Florida State as touchdown underdogs against Wake Forest. So that's my upset pick here. If you want to lay down some money on all of these games, you can do so thanks to our sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Enter the promo code CHAT125. You get a 125% deposit bonus. You put $100 into your account, you get an additional $125 back. Here's the deal, though. Got to use that link and that promo code.
All right, let's get to my picks now. We have some similar ones for the second straight week. Arkansas. This at 18.5, wherever you find it, point underdogs at Georgia. Their defense is too good to let that happen. I even put money line on Arkansas just to see if it hits. I like Georgia to win, but I think Arkansas keeps this one pretty close. Temple's terrible. Chase,
they're so bad.
The Temple alma mater himself, the alum, says they stink. So Memphis minus 11. They're not very good defensively, but they can really score still. I'm going Wisconsin versus Michigan. Michigan cannot throw the football, and Wisconsin is the best rush defense in America. They're struggling offensively, but I could see them winning like a 17-12 game, 17-14. It's going to be ugly, but give me the Badgers. Michigan has not won at Wisconsin in 20 years. Syracuse plus 5 at Florida State. We both have this one. FSU is going to win a game at some point. I don't think it's this game, though. Keep an eye on Syracuse's running back, Sean Tucker. He's very, very good, very physical. He ran all over Liberty a week ago. And then take this to the bank. Texas Tech, West Virginia, over 55.5. That's not a ton in this one. I know West Virginia has a pretty good defense, but Tech gave up 70 a week ago against Texas. I think this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Take the over in that one at 55.5. My upset pick, I'm going similar to what Chase did a week ago. Kansas State getting 10.5. Against Oklahoma. There's some chatter out there. I'm not, I don't reveal my sources that Kansas State could have Skylar Thompson for this one, their quarterback. We'll see if that happens. Even if they don't, I don't trust Spencer Rattler, especially on the road. K-State has beaten Oklahoma the last 2 years. I'll take K-State to win outright and for sure to cover that plus 10.5. So shout out your favorite team in college football. Let us know down in the comments. We asked you earlier. We'll ask you one more time. Shout out your team. Those are Chase and my picks here on Chat Sports.